Hey everyone. Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and this is going to be a short video because I have to work soon. But I couldn't help but think, like all day yesterday and all day today so far, about that Godzilla versus Kong footage that we got. If you're watching my channel, then you probably saw it. You probably saw my discussion video, and I think it's awesome. It's fantastic. But one of the things that I'm seeing a lot on the internet is just how is this carrier holding the weight of Godzilla and King Kong on it, right? And even though people are okay with the misbelief of these giant titans, these monsters, these kaiju existing in the world, they still want real world physics to make sense in the movie, right? And I understand that, and I'm with that too. It's not like, oh, we could just completely throw everything out there. You know, we have to make sense of things. So a lot of people are having a difficult time saying, well, how could this carrier hold the weight of them? How is it not instantly sinking? How is it not tipping back and forth? First of all, we only saw 2 seconds at most of this fight kind of about to be, taking place. So we don't know. Secondly, we don't know if this thing is docked or on water. Yes, if this is an aircraft carrier in the typical sense of it is out there in the ocean, it is floating somewhere out in the Pacific, and beneath it is several hundred feet to a couple thousand feet of water, and it's 1,000 feet long and it weighs 100,000 tons, and you've got a 90,000 ton Godzilla on it and a 10,000 ton Kong on it. The weight of these two guys, weighs as much or more than the ship itself. Like, it would have to sink instantly, right? But what if it's not a boat? What if this is a carrier or a launch pad and it's actually connected to the island, to Skull Island, for instance? Maybe it's a Monarch outpost. Maybe that's where this massive thing is. And, it is as many stories deep as it is. It's sitting right on top of sand, on top of rock, built into the mountain, built into the shore. So its weight is actually more comparable to Godzilla and Kong standing on the earth. It's just standing on man-made earth, right? Like, you've seen Godzilla walk on cement, on asphalt in the Godzilla film from 2014, and he wasn't absolutely sinking into the ground, right, as he was walking through the city. No. Likewise, Ghidorah, this massive titan over 500 feet tall, wasn't just falling through New York City when he was fighting Godzilla in Godzilla King of the Monsters, correct? Correct. So, we don't know if it's out in the ocean or docked. It makes a little bit of a difference, a lot of a difference, I should say, but we don't know that information just yet. But here's something that you also have to realize. Technology evolves as it is needed in many cases. In the Godzilla Kong monsterverse, their world has been under more distress, more craziness than ours has in our real world, right? In our Earth. They've dealt with King Kong. They've had Monarch. They've had Godzilla. They've had to fight against Mutos. They've been aware of monsters for 50 plus years in their world. So their technology is a little bit farther ahead than our technology in 2020, at least in the private sector, right? Like, yeah, in 2020 they might be still playing the same Nintendo Switch as we are, and they might be still having the same iPhone as we are, but military side, defense side, you could say that, okay, their submarines are up here, whereas ours in 2020 is down here. Their aircraft carriers, their stealth bombers, their Argo ships, they're a little bit above, right? In Godzilla King of the Monsters, we saw the underwater facility with these cannons and stuff, about to fire off against Godzilla. We don't have anything that advanced. We don't have anything as big of the ship that was being chased by Rodan, right? So right there you can see their tech, their knowledge, the amount of years that they've been putting into things is more significant than ours. So let's say, you know, our biggest carrier is something around 90 to 100,000 tons. Let's make this carrier 150,000 tons. Our biggest one is something around 1,000 feet long. Let's say that this thing is 1,500 feet long, all right? Now, excuse me, if you have this 150,000 ton carrier, it makes more sense that it could hold a 90,000 ton Godzilla and I don't know how much King Kong is going to weigh. He's not as dense as Godzilla, but he's still heavy. I'll call him a 10,000 ton King Kong, right? So now 2/3 of the weight of the carrier itself has these two giant beasts fighting on top of it. Now still, if it's in the ocean, how is this thing not going to sink instantly, right? Maybe it's not in the ocean. Maybe it's not, like I said, over 500 feet or so, or a couple thousand feet of water. Maybe it's docked. Maybe beneath it is just a few dozen feet of water or 100 feet of water. So it could hold this weight because this weight is going to make the carrier go, down. Yeah, it'll get crumbled. The cement will crack. The concrete will fall apart, of the asphalt or whatever steel rods and beams that they're using to build this structure, as Kong and Godzilla, boom, boom, flop on top of it, and it'll probably sink and get crushed. But it could hold their weight for a certain amount of time. So it makes a bit of a difference if it's out in the ocean or if it's docked, or even if it's a carrier in the typical boat sense at all. It might just be a bay where it's connected to the island, it's connected to the bedrock of Skull Island or something like that. So we don't know. So don't rule off the movie just yet for they're completely throwing away logic and reasoning. It's not necessarily the case. Think of it like this. Monarch and the governments and the military defenses and all those folks in the Monsterverse have had to evolve technology more in the last 50, 60 or so years since finding out monsters exist than us in 2020. So by default, they're going to have better stuff than us in their world. Not, super futuristic 20, 50 years more advanced in every regard, but in some regards, in some militaristic weapons and defensive technologies and stuff like that, they're going to be ahead of the game. So I think it's entirely possible that these two could exist. They could fight on it. How did they get into that position? Because it looks like Godzilla's the one that's closer to the end. I don't think that he crawled himself up out of water onto that. No. Maybe he was trekking through land and about to hop into the ocean, and it's Kong coming up and out of the bay. Maybe he was being Kong napped. Maybe this was a ship that they somehow drugged him, got him to fall asleep, and were trying to take him off Skull Island to go fight Godzilla or some different threat. Maybe that's not the case, and he wasn't breaking out of his slumber that was inside this massive ship's cargo bay. Maybe he was just on Skull Island. Maybe Godzilla, defeated Kong in their first fight that took place on Skull Island, and Godzilla thought Kong was done, and he's walking back into the ocean in this scene. And then he hears Kong running from behind. Pum, 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 what? And Godzilla turns around, and then that's the shot that we see. Godzilla standing there, kind of confused. People are also wondering, why is Godzilla just sitting here eating the shot? You don't know the context of what was right before that shot. Maybe Godzilla just whooped Kong in round one on the island, is walking back into the ocean, gonna hop into the water and do his thing. He's hearing Kong running, dong, 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 turns around, and Kong and gets him. That could be it. Doesn't that make sense? Don't rule it out so quickly, guys. I mean, I understand why, because you, like me, love this stuff, and we want it to exist within, acceptable real world physics. But also take into consideration, some of their stuff is going to be a little bit more advanced. We don't know the exact context of the scene. I think it could totally make sense and still be totally awesome, okay? Anyways, that's just where I'm coming from. That's my perspective on the whole thing. let's watch and wait for the new trailer to come out, the first official real trailer. Ooh, I'm stoked though. I'm good for now. Just those 2 seconds will last me for a couple of months of happiness, because we've got a lot of other cool things going on too. We've got Crisis on Infinite Earths that's happening right now. We've got a lot of cool video games coming out. So there's more to tide us, keep us happy until we get this new footage. It's not the only thing in the world, even though it is a pretty cool thing for a lot of us waiting. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is Paul Gale Network signing out. Hope you all have a good day. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my ideas. All right. Bye.